can't buy me products. Products can't buy me products. I'll sell you a diamond ring, my friend, if it makes you feel alright. I'll sell you anything, my friend, if it makes you feel alright. 'Cause I need to find out what you want for my products to be successful. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that is the theme of today. Today we are talking about marketing research. This is a very important part of any marketing plan. Selling any particular type of products, companies need to execute this very, very well. So make sure you get out your notes, follow the STORM philosophy of note-taking, and sit back and enjoy. Okay, so what are we going to look at today? Well, first we're going to identify just exactly what is marketing research. We are then going to move on to when should we conduct marketing research, and then the final part, which is the steps of marketing research: determining the problem, setting the objectives, collecting the information, tabulating the data, and analyzing the data. So I thought we'd start off with this very excellent quote. He who asks is a fool for 5 minutes. He who does not ask is a fool forever. This really does sum up marketing research. The idea that you must ask questions. If you fail to ask questions, well, you might be unsuccessful. So what is marketing research? Well, marketing research is the systematic collection, analysis, and interpretation used to develop a marketing strategy or solve a marketing problem. Systematic. This means that it is planned out in steps, that you follow these steps to collect information, to analyze the information, and interpret the information. By doing so, you can more successfully address a specific marketing problem or develop a specific marketing strategy, such as a push or a pull strategy or a brand value. So let's elaborate on this idea of marketing research. Suppose that you are a major manufacturer of a soft drink and you have a new flavor that you wish to sell. Well, before you get to that selling stage, you must start off with marketing research. Therefore, you must collect information in a systematical, methodical, organized manner. Therefore, it might be a wise idea to go out and conduct some surveys, to go out and conduct some focus groups or some observational research, or provide your soft drink to some test markets, conduct some secondary research. All these different types of research we will get into later on in this unit. Once you have collected this information, you need to analyze the responses. Every single consumer is telling you something different. However, when you group those together, you might get a common theme. And this common theme of answering is what you really need to pay attention to. As well, you will want to cross-reference or correlate information between consumers, such as maybe a certain age likes a certain flavor, or maybe a certain income level likes a certain flavor. And the last part, gathering an abundant amount and variety of information. And this kind of connects to that first part, which is collecting the information. You don't want to simply conduct surveys or simply conduct focus groups. You want a variety of information sources, and you want to conduct this in a lot of different ways to a lot of different consumers. By doing so, you're going to have more accurate results. So what we need to differentiate is the idea of marketers who use their intuition versus those who use marketing research. Intuitive decisions are those decisions that you make based on feelings and prior knowledge. We often refer to this as your gut feeling or acting on your gut feeling. It's automatic or it's instinctive, that you really feel strongly that you should sell a certain flavor of soft drink, let's say, or that your gut is telling you that you should sell it to a particular consumer market. This is intuition. It is not wrong by any means. It is not less valuable by any means. A lot of very famous people, such as Steve Jobs, really acted on intuition. And a lot of this is because marketers, and many marketers, feel that consumers don't really know what they want. And so if you conduct marketing research, they're really not going to tell you anything. So this is very important as a marketer. We do need to recognize that intuition is important. However, we also need to recognize that marketing research is important. So contrary to what Steve Jobs might have said, marketing research is important because it provides us with the hard data, the facts that can support our decisions, that can support our courses of action, that may lead us on that proper path. So what we really want to recognize is the idea that you want to use your intuition as well as marketing research. We don't want to use either of them separately. We want to combine the two. Okay, so when do you conduct marketing research? Well, I think to best sum this up, I'll provide you with a quote that may not be famous to you. It may not be a famous person, but is a very smart person, someone who I might look up to. This is the quote that says, always remember the 5 Ps. Proper planning prevents poor performance. Think about that while we move on. So when is marketing research needed? Well, think about this. Good marketing requires much more than just creativity and technical tools. It requires research. Research provides you with the information to make effective decisions. By conducting marketing research, we will find out who needs our product, who wants our product, where should it be sold, what price should we set it at, and do people know about the product or service? And lastly, is there any competition? And if so, what competitive advantages are out there? Market research helps us to make effective decisions. As a marketing manager, we need to rely on some of this information so that we can chart our course in our organization to effectively sell or market products and services. So we will conduct marketing research when we need to make marketing decisions. Typical situations of this is when we want to introduce a new product. Again, think of that marketing manager who needs to release a new flavor of soft drink. Think cherry cola. Do you think they just released that out into the market? No, they conducted marketing research to find out if consumers would purchase that, or to change an existing product. Now, Coca-Cola conducted marketing research when they changed Coca-Cola to just Coke. Now, marketing research should have told them that this was a bad idea, but they failed to look at the results of that marketing research and they made a disastrous decision. Another typical situation is the idea of finding a new store location. Major corporations who are in the retail business will scout out possible locations by conducting marketing research. They will find out traffic flow. They will find out income in the area. They will find out all sorts of demographic, psychographic, geographic, and product use statistics about consumers who live in the area, as well as conduct competitive analysis. All of this is marketing research. And lastly, where, when, how to advertise. Before you advertise, you need to find out if consumers will respond positively to your advertisements. So all this is necessary when conducting marketing research. So research needs to be part of an interlocking process that systematically informs targeting and positioning. Getting this right the first time is more than a priority. It's a necessity. You need to make sure you follow the correct steps of your marketing research process if you wish to have a successful marketing campaign. So what's the process? Well, there are 4 steps in the marketing research process. The first step is to determine the problem as well as set the objectives. The second step, collect the information. The third step, tabulate the data. And the fourth step, analyze the data. We want to make sure we complete all 4 steps of the marketing research process in order to make effective marketing decisions. So the first step, determining the problem and setting the objectives. What exactly are you researching? What are you trying to find out? Is there a demand for your product? Are you trying to find out where it should be sold? Are you trying to determine the price for your product? Are you trying to find out if people are aware of your product? Did you choose the correct target market and are you reaching them? Is there competition close by? And if so, what are their products and prices? All of these questions are essentially addressing a problem. The second part to this is setting your objectives. What are you hoping to achieve through your marketing research process? You need to clearly identify and define what you want to find out before you can move on. If you fail to determine the problem or set your objectives, you will choose the wrong path. And so no matter what information you gather, it may be incorrect. It may not address what you're trying to find out. So make sure that your first step is an effective one. The second step is to collect the information. And this is where you need to ask yourself, what kind of marketing research tool will you use to collect the information? What kind of sources will you use? Are there going to be primary sources? Are there going to be secondary sources? In most cases, you're going to combine the two. You're going to conduct both primary and secondary research. There are many different options available to you. Maybe it's surveys or focus groups or observational research. Maybe it's statistics or industry reports. All these sources of information will help guide you in making the effective decisions. The third step, tabulating the information, is probably the least exciting of this process. Now, this is where you need to take all of your consumer research through surveys or observation or focus groups or secondary industry reports and tabulate all this information. You need to enter all this data into typically spreadsheets or other marketing research software tools and organize it in a way that you can interpret it later on. You want to make sure that you can understand the data, make sense of the data. This is where you need to classify your data, count your responses. You want to tally all this data in a way that makes sense to you. Now, this is different for each type of source, and it's different based on the scope of the research, but this is a very important step. If you misinterpret or enter the data incorrectly, this could throw out all of your research results. And now the last step, step 4, analyzing the information. This is where you need to ask yourself a very simple but highly difficult to answer question. What does all of this information mean? This is where you need to take a look at this information. You've tabulated, you've put it into a spreadsheet or some sort of software tool, and you need to make sense of it all now. What learning have you gained as a result of your marketing efforts? This is where you need to look for patterns. You can begin to make sense of the data and use this information to help you reach a decision based on identifying patterns. Is it that every 15-year-old likes iPhones? Is it that every 25-year-old like Android phones? Right? This is where you need to correlate information from demographics to psychographics to preferences. Right? All this information is available to you. It's how you analyze it and make sense of it that will set you on the path of success. So this brings us to our end. Think about this question for a second. If a company doesn't perform marketing research well or effectively, what hazards, consequences, or mistakes may they experience? Will they go down the wrong path? Doesn't matter. To some it may not. To others it may. But think about what hazards, consequences, and mistakes may lie ahead for those who don't perform marketing research well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, make sure your notes are in order, you've summarized them, and you've asked yourself a discussion question. Thanks for watching. That's it. That's all. That's everything. We'll see you tomorrow.